Aditya Narayan is joining us, Head of Research Institutional Equities at Edelweiss. Aditya, good morning. Thanks much for joining us. Now we have the news, right? The market had a big rally, big FI inflows, and now Pfizer is saying that the vaccine has 90% success rate. So you tell us, can the market celebrate more from here, or is it time to perhaps take some money home?
Yes, I think there will clearly be a certain amount of leveling off, because it's not just the vaccine, but between corporate results, underlying activity, and global momentum in terms of equities. I think you've actually had a lot of tailwind, you've had a lot of performance in the recent past. So I think there just will tend to be a little bit of natural leveling off that effectively happens. I think one of the things that one also has to see from an India context is that while this vaccine, it seems very, very promising and will be in sooner rather than later, I think the reality is that it is not going to reach the shores of India, right? Given the nature of infrastructure required to actually distribute it, given the fact that the developed markets have blocked most or have already locked in all the supply, this vaccine in itself is not going to make a difference to the underlying in India. So I think to that extent, I would tend to believe there will be a little bit of leveling off, a little bit of profit taking, and as they very often say, buy on expectation, sell on news. I think you're getting a little bit of that newsy element now, where a lot of stuff has peaked from a news flow perspective.
Okay. Good morning, Aditya. I think the hope just is that if one guy has succeeded, then as Kiran Shaw was telling us, J&J and AstraZeneca cannot be far behind. It's not an uncrackable, cure. That confidence definitely comes in, and those apparently are more affordable cures. So basically the question is, what is the advice? Will you go out and buy Indigo? Would you buy PVR? Would you even buy banks? I mean, NBFCs, the only NBFC that was bought were the gold stocks. Now would you start buying those highly beaten stocks?
See, I think in many senses, my view has been that these stocks are going to start turning when their businesses start lending, right? And the moment you start getting signs of that happening in any meaningful manner, I think that is when you start getting much, much more aggressive with them. The reason why gold stocks have actually done well is because they've actually been able to lend over this period. The rest of the NBFCs are still very, on their toes at this point in time. I would tend to believe over the next quarter or so, you will get to that point where actually they start lending out. And I think that would be the takeoff point, as it were. At this point in time, I kind of prepare for them rather than necessarily jump into that trade at this point in time. So, from a sector perspective, we are actually running a kind of a neutral stance on the financials, simply because we think the asset concerns are already in. The lending ability, I think you still need to wait out a little bit for.
Okay, got that. Well, the market is definitely in profit-taking mode as far as the IT and pharma stocks are concerned. Tech Mahindra is now down 4%, Infosys is down 4%, and pharma stocks like Divi's Labs are also seeing profit-taking. Aditya, good morning. IT is one space that was the biggest beneficiary of this COVID-led digital wave. Now that things are opening up, perhaps people will start going back to work. Do you think that this is a space that could move to the back burner, or would you use every dip as a buying opportunity in IT stocks?
So I think in the interim, while you keep getting this news flow, as Lata had mentioned, you will probably get other vaccines also. So you could have them being a little bit on the back foot in the near term, but structurally, I think those trends have been set in terms of the expansion, in terms of the need for IT and the push towards technology. I think those things are now, in my view, almost cast in stone. So to some extent, you might have any real momentum in the near term. I would tend to argue if they come off the way they are coming off at this point in time, it actually starts presenting an opportunity to invest in these for something that has changed structurally. I think what you must remember is that events like this do lead to meaningful decadal structural changes, and I think IT is one of them. So you will end up seeing structurally an acceleration in that space. Stocks obviously run up very aggressively, when you're factoring it at the earliest, but I think this tends to provide an opportunity for that. So I'd be keeping my eyes very, very open, even though I wouldn't necessarily expect too much performance in the immediate term.
By the way, Bihar is turning out to be more neck and neck than Pennsylvania, Arizona or Nevada. Yeah. I mean, it's like 95, 96, 93, 92 for the two alliances.
96, 95 right now. Okay, Aditya, the other trade which is played out is automobiles. Names like Maruti, Hero, of course, was at 1800 at the time of lockdown. We are at 3000 plus now. More money could be put here, or you think again this has run up a lot and valuation perhaps now not in your favor?
No, in fact, I think that's a space where we would decisively take money off the table, right? Because it's hard to confuse the structural from the cyclical and the pent up, and I suspect there was a fair amount of pent up. As you said, valuations have gone up a long way, and disruptions like whether it's been Demon or whether it's been GST, the initial flush in the rebound has always been very, very interesting and welcome. But some of the structural challenges it has created have started to play out over a longer period of time, and I suspect the downside of this is going to come up over the next couple of quarters, and to that extent I think auto will tend to be a little vulnerable. The fact that these stocks are at multiples that are substantially higher than where they were, I think only makes it more of a case to be lighter in this space.
For me, the sell trade in autos will be on the day when the Mumbai locals get normal. And I think it's about time they did that. Yeah. I mean, the buses are looking so dangerously crowded. Aditya, Sonia asked you about IT. I have the same question on pharma. Is there a structural shift, or now is it peaking?
I think pharma is a little bit more nuanced. I think directionally you're absolutely you're in a similar direction or a similar trade. The extent of the gains are lesser, and the regulatory overhangs, it's less market driven than IT. It is less global than IT. And so to that extent, I think it will be more nuanced. So I continue to believe that you will get opportunities there, but they are not necessarily decadal. They are not necessarily going to be straight line and trend line. And so you will have a certain amount of up and down there. So I think it's a similar trade, but it's a much less of a trade than the IT space.
Okay. Just coming back to this whole unlock, this whole vaccine theme, I had a follow-up question on aviation, and the reason I'm asking you this is because it's not only today that the street is betting on stocks like Indigo, right? I mean, if you look at the performance, the stock is up 75% from the lows that we saw in July, and the fundamental performance also improving. There are more flights now, capacity has gone up and losses are lower. Do you think that there's still some more steam left in specifically in aviation and market leaders like Indigo, or you think it's played out in its entirety?
I think there will be some steam left, because you have the events of things opening up and capacity looking better and people actually starting to vacation and travel on business. So you might have a little bit of steam, but given the fact that these are sectors where you are capped in terms of market shares, I would suspect it's not going to be a whole lot that you will effectively get. Unlike some other sectors which are which do not fall under the regulator's eye, where you can actually keep nipping away at market share or make significant gains when you have disruptions like these. I don't think that holds true for aviation, and that tends to cap it firstly. And it is also going to be a function and a victim of the fact that fundamentally you are going to have lesser travel. So to that extent, maybe a little bit of tailwind, but nothing dramatically more.
Okay. Finally, I wanted to end where we began, where Anuj began. What about the market itself, the Nifty itself? It's come a long way. Now, should we expect that another 10%, in the next 6 months is a given because things are on the mend?
No, I think 10% is given more on the downside than on the upside, quite honestly. Because it's come a long way. Yeah, if you were to see a 10% move, I suspect it's going to be more on the downside than on the upside. Quite honestly, you've got quarterly numbers that have been kind of phenomenal. You've got commentary that has been very good. You've got an external stimulus globally which has been very good. You've had global markets which have been indifferent, right? Or they build up either political disposition in the US. So once you get this entirety of this mix, and markets move up the way they do, I suspect the risk is more that something falls through, some data points become a little weaker, or you just have some events that risk you more on the downside than on the upside.
Okay.
So I think there has been a decent recovery. I think whether it is politically, whether it is economically, whether it is corporate wise, but that that tide has turned, and I would suspect it's got factored in decently. So the risk is that there is some ebbing that tends to happen.
Okay, Aditya, take that point. Thanks a lot for joining us.
Have a great Diwali.
Have a great
if we don't see
Diwali,
you.
you and your team and
You
of
guys
course your
too.
family. Well, that's the Edelweiss view. And you know what? The market is still trying to make up its mind. It's